Internationally, gun violence is the top public health concern in America. That's according to new Axios-Ipsos polling, which saw the issue surge ahead of the opioid crisis. And as the U.S. endured more than 220 mass shootings this year so far, that's more than there have been days. In response, at least in part, Maryland's governor just signed several gun safety measures into law with new criteria for who can carry firearms in public, new restrictions as to where permit holders can bring their weapons, including polling places, preschools, hospitals, and stadiums. In response to that, the National Rifle Association is now suing Maryland's Democratic Governor Wes Moore, calling the law unconstitutional. And Maryland Governor Wes Moore joins us now. Governor, in the wake of the Supreme Court's June 2022 decision, which was a ruling basically against New York's concealed carry law, and it basically expanded the interpretation of the Second Amendment. Because of that, the number of people now allowed to carry concealed guns in public in Maryland has tripled. Your new law is in response to that. The NRA lawsuit challenges the idea that Maryland can prohibit legal permit holders from bringing their guns into a vast array of public and private spaces. Do you think your law will hold up in court, even if it's challenged all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court?
I do think this law will hold up. We were working in partnership with the Office of the Attorney General, who believes that this law will hold up. But also importantly, these are common sense gun laws. They're common sense gun laws that are simply saying that people should not be allowed to bring firearms into a nursery or into a government building. You know, we passed common sense gun laws that are saying that someone under the age of 21 should not be allowed to purchase a firearm. Common sense gun laws that's saying that a person with a mental illness and a history of violence should not be able to purchase a weapon. We are dealing with, as you said, the #1 public health concern of people in our state, and our state is saying enough, and we're not going to wait for the federal government to be able to make adjustments and be able to keep our people safe. Public safety is my #1 concern, and we are going to keep the people of this state safe.
So the law will clearly make the process to legally carry a firearm more complex. And when a permit's approved, carrying the weapon into some locations will just be off limits. An NRA official in Maryland said this, quote, "You know who isn't going to do all of this to get a permit and who isn't going to worry about where it's legal to carry? Criminals. This law will only prevent law-abiding people from exercising their rights," unquote. How do you respond to that?
I respond by simply saying that we are going to address the issue of gun violence full stop in the state. And if you look at the budget that we proposed, we proposed, and we have now in our budget, an increase of $122 million that's going towards local law enforcement, that we have historic funding for mental health supports, that we are taking a full all of the above approach when it comes to dealing with the issue of gun violence and public safety. It's the reason that we put a core focus on restricting and eliminating ghost guns, making them illegal in our state, that we made historic funding in doing things like enhanced license plate readers and coordination between local jurisdictions so we can keep these illegal guns out of our neighborhood. But it is also saying that we cannot stop with just simply having an approach that's dealing with illegal guns. We've got an issue of violence within our society, and being able to have background checks on who is purchasing weapons and knowing why, and being able to know that people should not be able to bring firearms anywhere they want to in our state is something that our state is not going to stand for. We have an all-of-the-above approach in the way that we're dealing with public safety, and this is a component of it.
So most states that have strict gun laws have lower than average rates of gun violence. But the advocacy group, Everytown for Gun Safety, ranks Maryland as having among the nation's strictest gun laws, but nonetheless above average gun deaths. Why do you think that is? Where is that disconnect? And do you think your new law will address that?
Well, it's true. I've been governor for 5 months, and here's what I know. For the past 8 years, we have seen how the homicide rate in the state of Maryland has nearly doubled. We have seen how the rate of non-fatal shootings in the state of Maryland has nearly doubled over the past 8 years. We are dealing with something that is almost a decades-long challenge and problem in the state of Maryland, and something that I ran on that we are not going to let sit pat now that I'm governor. And I know that we have already taken aggressive measures of being able to increase coordination. We've taken aggressive measures of making sure that we are getting and keeping these violent offenders off of our streets. We're taking aggressive measures and making sure that we are tracking and eliminating the problem of illegal guns within our neighborhoods. And so we know that the all of the above approach in the way that we are dealing with public safety, supporting mental health, and supporting mental health capacities, making sure we're doing more investments in our schools and our job training programs, that it's not just simply going to be about sentencing or gun laws, that the way you're going to deal with public health and the way you're going to deal with public safety in our society is by making sure you are dealing with all, not just the root causes, but all the root challenges that our society continues to face.
The U.S. Supreme Court this week just refused to intervene when it comes to Illinois' ban on what they call assault weapons, semi-automatic weapons. That's the latest example of justices kind of just like staying away from Second Amendment-related disputes. Do you think that that will be how the court looks at your law?
Well, I think the you look at the state of Maryland, where we have had a banning on assault weapons and weapons of war inside of neighborhoods, and it actually has had a distinct impact that we've seen. But we also know that we are still dealing with that challenge, where just a few weeks ago in the city of Baltimore, we had a young person who was killed by an assault weapon. Mm-hmm. So we know this is still a very real challenge that we face in the state of Maryland. But the thing that we do know and is that we are going to be aggressive when it comes to making our community safe. We are going to be aggressive when it comes to keeping these type of weapons out of the hands of people who do not need them and in places where they do not need to be. And so we'll be working with the Office of the Attorney General to not just ensure measurements of constitutionality, but also working with all of our local jurisdictions and law enforcement to make sure that we have proper enforceable mechanisms that are going to keep our communities safe.
All right, the governor of Maryland, Wes Moore, coming to us live from Annapolis. Thank you so much, sir. Good luck.